like there's those sayings that like, the job that you stress about now is the one that you used to pray for that you wanted to get
years ago.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever that is. So like the stress that you have now are maybe the stressors that you were wishing you had previously.
And 15 years ago, like everything in my life changed just simply by being grateful.
Yeah.
My man, Kishan, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been here for an interview with Akash Patel, right? Wait.
Yeah.
Akash Patel. Shout out Akash. So you know a little bit of the behind the scenes, but I do like to start these off with like fun questions, just to kind of get the conversation going. So I'll do that. What are the first 3 apps you look at on your phone when you get up?
Probably Twitter or X.
Okay.
Do that. My email app.
Okay.
And then probably YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I do like a daily prayer type of thing.
Yeah,
so
same.
I just like a mantra. I'll play that in the morning. Sometimes when I'm like driving my daughter to school, I'll play that as well. And so those are probably the 3. Like if you look at my like top usage, then it'll go to like Instagram or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd say like YouTube and stuff like that. And
that's cool.
X, I just like to try to get like if there's any big news things that happen.
Same.
Look at that, and then the stock market app.
Yeah. Who do you follow on X that's the most interesting follow?
Honestly, I do a lot of like, I'm a big Tennessee fan. I went to Tennessee, University of Tennessee, so a lot of that during the football season, it's a lot of just like, hey, what's going on with the season and all that. Recently, we just had a coach leave to go to the San Francisco Giants, the majors.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like the first time that's ever happened where a college coach went to MLB.
Wow.
And that just got announced yesterday. So like this whole week I was just trying to see like, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Who are we going to replace? Because he revitalized our program.
Gotcha.
Won a national championship and everything. So
really? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. So a lot of sports accounts is what I follow, and then I have some like business accounts, but I couldn't name any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know that I could name the accounts either. Like after I said it, I was like, well, who's mine?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. I follow a lot of boxing stuff on Twitter, and so I see a lot of those clips, especially leading up to a fight.
Yeah.
I would say shout out Sean Porter, who's a Hall of Fame fighter.
Yeah.
I follow him. I get some good stuff out of him, and he's got a podcast, so it kind of marries what was talked about on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll kind of, so it's like behind the scenes or whatever. But then what I really love is like interesting, unknown, trivial facts.
Yeah.
And so I follow a bunch of accounts where they'll be like, on this day, the Titanic sunk or whatever, whatever, just like little historical things, which fills me with useless knowledge.
Great for trivia night.
I'm great on trivia night, but like a lot of times I'll say stuff to my wife, I'll be like, oh babe, did you know?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. She'll just kind of roll her eyes like, who cares? Like, who cares about that, but, all right, cool. You wake up every day feeling?
Grateful, one.
Nice.
Because, health is great. Don't have any big diseases or anything like that.
Yeah.
Probably lose a few pounds, but
Come on.
go work out. And then, I have a daughter that's 3 years old, so she's great. She consumes my entire life, rightfully so. Have a great wife who I love, and family's healthy and still alive. Mom and dad, both sides of parents for my wife as well. So, feel blessed of, having some of the small things that you stress about are things that you can be still thankful for.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's those sayings that like, the job that you stress about now is the one that you used to pray for that you wanted to get.
Yeah. Years ago.
5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever that is. So like the stress that you have now are maybe the stressors that you were wishing you had.
Right.
Previously. So,
of course, 100%. Like you dreamed about having these stressors years ago, but now,
it's like
so
the
many
late
people.
nights at like with my daughter or whatever, like, oh man, when she's crying or something like that. Well, those were what I wanted to have, right?
Yeah.
Like now you have it.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
Sometimes just being grateful and thankful for like the things that you have, but there's always things that could be worse.
100%. Yeah, I feel that like I have this it's cliche, but like this attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it makes everything in life fall into place. Like the stresses that I'll deal with, that's not really that big of a deal because I have, so much to be grateful for. And when I started to live that way, started to think that way, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, like everything in my life changed just simply by being grateful.
Yeah.
We had an old lady at my church growing up who would be, when they did the prayer time, she'd be like, I'm just grateful to be, what'd she say? For waking me up of sound mind.
Yeah.
And as a teenager, we would laugh like, what's she talking about? Like she crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's true. You could wake up and not have your faculties. Or you could wake up and be in a whole lot worse situation. Like there's so many little things that we take for granted, but if you start looking at them being grateful, man, it just shines a bright light on everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right, so my understanding is that 2020, which is the best year ever to start a business, you and your wife, what's your wife's name?
Jigna.
Beautiful. The two of you moved down, you got a 3-year-old, so the two of you moved down from Tennessee and opened an optometrist practice.
Yeah.
Tell me about one, I'm sure that she's the doctor, right? She's the optometrist, so she's formally trained.
Yep.
But tell me about the idea of, I'm not gonna get a job, she's not gonna get a job, we're going to start a business.
Yeah, so when we were in Tennessee, she had a similar concept over there where she worked out of a Pearl Vision, but it was essentially her own business. So like everything that she services side did was collected was hers.
Okay.
And so this was like the next step of like, hey, we have a sublease opportunity inside of a Lens Crafters. And so now we're open 7 days a week, which was part of the deal. But we own the services side and they own the retail side. So there's pros and cons to that. You can, make all the money that you want on the service side, but then you leave a lot on the table on the retail side. But you have a lot less overhead.
Right.
Right. So sometimes like that's a whole different part of the business that you're like, hey, maybe I don't want to deal with that part. Maybe I want to just, do this and be the best doctor because that's what she's great at.
Formally trained, yeah.
And she's like, hey, I want to be this part of the business. So, when you first start that business, you're not having to do a build out. You're not having to do a lot of the construction and all that stuff. So we went and occupied a space that was already made.
Right.
Already had all the equipment. We bought some additional equipment because she wanted to bring more up to date or more technology to that space.
Sure.
And
okay.
So we bought some machinery, some testing equipment that, helps her with providing the patient care that she wants to be able to provide.
Sure.
And that was like some of our biggest expense. And then the other big expense in a business for us, in our business, is just the salary of the doctor.
Sure.
And so the biggest expense is the salary, which is coming home to us. So that was great in terms of like we were able to be in the green, like from week one, like from first day, because the expense,
which is that doesn't happen all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were able to do that, and at the same time, I was working full time at Amazon.
Okay.
In like a supply chain logistics role.
Gotcha.
And so I would help out on the weekends whenever I could, or after getting done with my work, I would go and help her with like I wouldn't go to the office, but I would help her with like any like conversations that needed to be had about like, hey, let's talk through this, or like marketing or any strategy that she needed to do.
Right.
I would try to put, I would try to help out wherever I could.
So you're working 5 to 7 days a week too.
Yeah,
for sure.
Especially on the weekends, we didn't have a kid there.
Right.
We didn't have a kid at that time, so like I would go into the office whenever I could to be able to help with like just the front desk. She trained me some stuff on like being a tech, so I kind of did some pre-testing a little bit here and there until she was like, all right, I can hire better help than you.
Sure, yeah, I can hire better help. Okay, yeah, somebody formally trained. I get it. Yeah. Okay. So you're at Amazon.
I was, yeah.
What year did you leave Amazon?
July of 2024, I believe.
Okay, so they were Amazon.
Yeah.
Like now we're not talking about the olden days or whatever. They're in the news right now, Amazon. So they say that they're gonna not replace jobs, but they're gonna look to fill roles instead of with humans, they're going to do robots.
Yeah.
Which is intriguing to me as like an outsider, like in the tech space, whatever. But like as somebody who worked for the company, like what are your thoughts on that?
So I think, sometimes these headlines can get like misconstrued, and then it's like a hot topic. But like you said already, that they're not replacing or firing people.
Right.
It's just like future headcount that they were projecting is now going to be absorbed by, automation.
Yeah.
And I think that happens in a lot of different companies in several different aspects of ways, right? Like AI is probably doing that with a lot of like jobs that you wouldn't even think about.
No,
like,
yeah.
Right now, like think about like data analysts or something like that. A lot of that can be done with AI now.
Yeah.
I had to learn like Excel, not the greatest at it, but some of those things that I had to learn and the formulas, now you can just put in the AI and do that. But
Yeah.
I think with these new like automations or new robots or whatnot that will come, there'll still be other opportunities that open up inside of these warehouses or inside of the delivery stations and stuff like that. So they've had robots for a while.
Okay.
And you can also go and tour some Amazon facilities. And I would encourage, if you look it up, like I think it's just AmazonTours.com.
Yeah.
Some of these places are pretty crazy in terms of like the tech that's already there.
It's already being implemented.
Yeah. So like the robots that are going around right now, it's actually really cool to see.
Nice.
And so, the role that you might have of like picking something out of this basket and putting it into here might go away.
Yeah.
Because that was like a role that needed to be
Why
done.
not? Yeah, why not?
But now you might have a robot that picks it, right? And then you might have a different role. You might have certain different things that you can do inside of the company.
Yeah, I think that we talk on here a lot about making sure that a team member is using their time for their highest and best use, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Axiom Strategic. That's where we got that. But like, is this person's highest and best use moving something from this bucket to that?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Like, let's have a robot do it, and now they can do something that is better suited for a human to do. I love it. So your wife you start the optometrist practice. That's going well. At what point did you decide that you wanted to get into business for yourself?
So started looking into this about 2022 or something like that.
Okay.
That was going well, and I was thinking like, hey, I'm working about 50 hours a week right now. At the end of the year, like, what am I going to get? I know I get equity in the company, like I get shares and all that, but maybe a 3 to 5% bump on my pay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, if I do that same level of effort into a business, I should be able to grow that more than the 3 to 5%.
Right.
Unless I'm just not a good operator inside of a business.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You got to work for it, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what led me to think about like, okay, hey, let's look at different options. And so I just kind of had like this, okay, hey, let's look at it, let's think about it. And then I was talking to one of my cousins who, he's got his hands in a bunch of different businesses. So like he's a hotel developer, does that. He also developed a Goddard School daycare that he's a franchisee of and runs that. He just bought an HVAC company. So he's got a bunch of different things that he'll do.
He likes the game, yeah.
And so, I talked to him about it. He's like, hey, I have a franchise that we could look into if you were interested. And so it's a facial studio. It's called Clean Your Dirty Face. And so that's what we opened up. But what I liked about it was it wasn't 24/7. So like with, I have a family that's had hotels and motels. That's what I grew up in. It was a motel space.
Yeah.
Like a mom and pop motel. We lived on the property, my parents did all of they made the rooms. I cleaned the parking lots when I was young, all of that stuff. The typical like Indian story, if you've heard of that.
Sure. Okay. Sure.
And there's an article like the Patel Motel Mafia or something like that. I think the New York Times or something like that did an article. But there's a lot of Indians that own hotels and motels in America. And so this business, the Clean Your Dirty Face, I was like, okay, cool. Like I can be done. I can set the hours of the business to be like 10 to 6, which is what we are. And then afterwards, I'm kind of done with my day. Besides, like, I can do other marketing and admin stuff. But like, I liked the idea of like not having a 24-hour business. There's pros to that, right? And there's cons to that. But
yeah, there are. Yeah.
it's just what you want with your lifestyle and that. And so, the other thought I had was like, okay, like it's in Florida. I think aesthetics are pretty popular here. And then the other part was the people that come in for a facial are usually going to be in a positive, like, mood.
Yeah.
And we've been open for about a year and a half, and I would say like 99.99% of my interactions have all been great, very positive, friendly people. My first career was a pharmacist. I used to work at Walgreens, and those conversations aren't as positive, right? Because sometimes people aren't feeling well, and it's outside of the control. They come to us right from their doctor. They expect that their medication's ready. We might not have even gotten it yet.
Right.
Doctor might not have had a chance to call it in, or their insurance didn't approve it. So like they're frustrated, and they voice their frustration, rightfully so.
Of course. Yeah.
And so on the receiving end of that is me, or my techs, or whoever. And so it's completely different.
Very
the
different
interactions that I'm having. So that was one of the things that I looked at as well.
Gosh, I wonder. Yeah, I guess. And when you're working behind the pharmacy window and people are coming to you on a bad day, and then you leave, you kind of take that home, right? Like, because you've been dealing with negativity all day, but now you're dealing with people in a good mood on a good day. That's interesting. I bet it spills over into the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, and like normally I don't really have any bad days at work at like this, the facial studio, because most of the time now, like we have members who come in, I know them, we've built relationships with them.
Nice.
You can do the same thing at like the pharmacy, people that come in all the time. For the most part, like everyone's just coming in, they're having a good time. Like
having a good
we
day.
would have to really do something bad for someone to be like upset after their service.
Right.
That can happen.
Yeah.
But as the business owner, I have the autonomy and stuff like that to make it right. Right. Like my biggest thing, and one of the things that I learned from Amazon early on was like customer service. Like you take care of the customer, they'll take care of you.
Okay.
They'll talk about it with their 5 friends or whoever. Like, hey, like they messed up, they apologized, and they made it right. They invited me out again, and they wanted to make sure that I had a positive experience there.
I love it.
So that's what I try to do. Is like if anyone has a negative experience, like I'll try to make sure that they come in, and where I can do it and make it right, we'll make it right.
I love it. All right, so I mean, customer service is huge because, as you said, like they're gonna have a favorable experience, and they're gonna tell their 5 friends. And I always read that like if they have a good experience, they'll tell 5 or 6 friends. If they have a bad experience, 10, 20, 30 people, they'll tell everybody. So talk to me about like what are some customer service things that you learned from Amazon, or maybe even from your folks, right? Like in the hotel motel industry, right? That's hospitality is huge there, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you took into the business that you made sure to implement for that patient-client experience?
Yeah, sometimes like people just want to know, like if you have, like for example, my wife does a great job about this. Her customer service skills are great, and her reviews on Google are amazing. And so like if someone's running behind, let's say she had an interesting case or something that needed a little bit more time.
Sure.
Where like someone's having an eye emergency, she's gonna do a follow-up, ask more questions, more testing, and it's running late, right? Like you go to the doctor's office and sometimes you're in there for a long time. We try not to do that at our optometry practice. And so if she knows that that person's been waiting for a little bit, she'll just immediately apologize. Like, hey, I'm so sorry, thank you for your patience. That just kind of lets that person who even wanted to say something like, okay, like that person's already apologized.
It's understandable,
I'm not gonna like beat them down or whatnot. And so just explaining or apologizing might be the difference in like an interaction. And I think that goes a long way. But then just, I treat people like, how do I want to be treated when I go into your business?
Yeah.
Like, when I come into your business, like, did somebody greet me? Did they, were they warm? Were they friendly or whatnot?
That's a huge thing.
Feel like I was a burden being there.
Yep.
Right? Like, I can take my business somewhere else. Like if I'm too much right now for you to like greet me or whatnot.
I'm out.
Yeah, like let me like here, I'll do you a solid and I'll go somewhere else because you might not like you don't want to have this interaction.
Right.
You don't want me to be there, then I'll take somewhere else. So like that's where I kind of think about it is that there's plenty of options out there.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do to set ourselves aside
that makes
so that
us
people
better.
want to come back to us?
Yeah. What makes us better so that because they get to ultimately they get to choose, right? And they could choose somebody else. I find that people just want to feel seen.
Yeah.
Right. So like in that example you said like about just, hey, I'm sorry it took an extra couple minutes. Like they in that moment they feel that you empathize, you relate to what they were going through, and they appreciate that. Or even just like, we have clients all over the country. Some are, they have all the services, and we're talking to them often, and some just have, one or two, and we're talking to them less as often, just as a just by default, I guess. But when we reach out and we treat a client who only has one service, the same as we do somebody who has all the services, right? When we have that touch point with them, I find the feedback from that is really great. Like, they really appreciate that. They feel seen, they feel heard and appreciated, and perception's reality, right? So they perceive, and they are getting more value, right? Just by feeling seen in that moment. Goes a long way, man. Okay, so you opened your business 18 months ago?
Yeah, March of 2024. That
was, because Optom practice, you went into an existing space, but your business, you had to build out.
Yeah, so we had to do I had to find a space.
Okay.
That took a long time because I wanted to be in like a very specific area where there's foot traffic, visibility to the road, all that. So
did you work with a realtor, or you did that on your own?
Yeah, so with the franchise, they put me in touch with a realtor, a local realtor. And so we went to probably see 30 different spots.
Wow.
And then finally found one that, I liked. And so it's in Channelside. It's right on a busy street.
Good location.
East Kennedy Boulevard. And it was a first-gen location. So, like, there's gravel on the floor. There was no electricity. There was no plumbing. So we had to do everything in there.
Okay.
And definitely some lessons learned there.
Okay.
On, that. Like, would I do a second or first-gen? I probably wouldn't have that as a priority.
Okay.
Because the amount of time that it takes to do that with the permitting and all that. We worked out the lease where we got 6 months rent abatement because we thought we were going to get to be open by then. And I probably paid rent on that place for about a year before we even opened.
Really?
Yeah. So like that was a financial strain, right? And so like it was issues with like, the GC, delivering on what they stated, permitting process taking a long time, inspections, failing inspections, and then, at some point towards the end of it, like I basically was the acting GC because I just didn't have much trust in that.
Right.
And so I was talking to the city, I was talking to the inspectors, I was talking to the architect, I was talking to the subs, like, hey, I need you guys to come out here. And so like, there's a lot of those things that you learn on your first build.
Right.
That, next time you're like, okay, hey, like, to ask better questions.
Right.
Initially.
What's an example of one of those questions?
So like, their turnaround time is like, hey, we can get this done in 6 months. Well, what makes you think that? Like, why have you had experience with this city on permitting? Like, what permits are required? Who are you subbing this out to?
Right. All
that stuff. And like a lot of times, like when you have a small project, which is what this was, they're not waiting around for us. Like they're working us in with other jobs that they're doing. Of course,
yeah.
And so when we have an issue with, like, let's say a failed inspection, right? Like an electrical inspection comes in. They tell us like, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z. So then now I have to call that sub back out, or the GC, and they call the sub. So let's say the inspection was on Monday. I might not get that other person back in to fix that thing until like Thursday.
Of course.
Friday, maybe even next week when they're working me in their schedule. And then we got to call the inspection again. And then like you might...
Yeah, wait for them to come out.
They come out, and then like you fail that again. And so that was some of the issues that we were having. So I had to escalate that with the city. Like, hey, why are we not getting all the information on the first visit or whatnot?
Wow. So even asking questions in those moments to find out why are we failing, what else needs to be done.
During that time, I was also working at Amazon full time.
You're still doing the Amazon thing at the time? Oh my gosh.
Still doing that full time. And so like, there's probably things that I should have been more present in the construction phase, like just being around more.
But you're working 40, 50
so I was still
hours.
working over there and then trying to figure it out on the side here. So, those are things where like being present is very important.
Yeah.
And even like just in business, right? Like being present. And so those are some of the lessons learned there.
Interesting. And I would say only about half of the work you had to do at Amazon was due to the orders that my wife and I make. So only. I swear to Amazon dudes, I have my door like every day.
I'm still I still have I'm a shareholder, so thank you for being a customer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, we man, I'm a small business owner, so like I love supporting small businesses.
Yeah.
And then, but I'll see something.
It's the convenience.
The convenience is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like if I want to go to the store and buy it, that's great. But would I rather just have it at my door? Yeah, like they've cornered that market.
Yeah.
It's probably where all retail stuff is gonna go in the future.
There was an interesting article, so Jeff Bezos, when he was CEO, he used to write the shareholders letter every year, annual report or something like that. And there's one that I read that I would encourage you to read, like from the very first till the last one he wrote. But there's one year, I forget the year, but he was talking about how much cost savings that Amazon has provided to people in the terms of like, if you value your time at $15 an hour, let's just say $15 an hour.
Yeah.
The amount of time that it takes you to go from your house to the mall, to Walmart, to somewhere to go and get X, Y, and Z, it might be an hour, 2 hours, or something like that. And then he was saying that on average, it takes us to shop, customers to shop on their website, maybe like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I forget the exact numbers, but you can kind of get where I'm going with this. So he's like, if you extrapolate that with the amount of customers that we've had and the amount of orders that we do, these are the amount of hours that we have saved people cumulatively.
It's got to be astronomical,
and then
right?
you multiply that by the amount of dollars that you value your time to be. It's incredible the amount of like cost savings or time back that you're getting by just shopping online. And so like, when we were talking about this earlier, like speed plays such a big role in how like Amazon's being able to be successful. Like sometimes I might, even if it's $1 more, and if I can get it today versus like getting it in 2 days, I'm gonna get that product versus the other product.
Of course.
And that might also be on Amazon, right? Like because there's different products that might have different speed, and so the convenience of that, like,
is there anything that are there any things that you have implemented from Amazon into, because obviously speed is not a factor necessarily. Well, in is it cosmetic? I guess it's cosmetic services, right?
Yeah, facials.
Like it's speed isn't necessarily a big thing, but are there areas where you looked at something you did at Amazon and you're like, I could do this here and be better than the competition?
I don't know. I mean, just customer service wise, right? The one thing that like I think about is if you have an issue with like a delivery and you go on the app and it'll say like call me, like it immediately calls you. There's a human.
Or you can chat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a human, but it feels like a human that I'm chatting with.
It might not be, but like the person talking to you,
100%.
That's a human, and you're able to get them immediately.
Yeah.
And so like, we always like, you've had these issues. Everyone has them where like, you call a business and it just rings and rings and rings and they're not answering, or they don't call you back.
Or you get put on hold.
Or you get put on hold and all that. And so like, those are things that we implemented. Like we make sure that we're doing at like even the optometry practice, like making sure just picking up the phone.
Yeah.
Like
a real person.
Yeah.
That's huge.
When I worked at Walgreens, there would be metrics on like how quickly did you pick up the phone. And
yeah, it's a big deal.
Sometimes like if I'm calling Walgreens or Walmart or pharmacy, like I might be on their hold for like 10 minutes, like just trying to get through to somebody.
To a real person.
And you're like, man, that's such a frustrating experience.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like, how can we do that differently than other businesses? Like just something as simple as that.
Yeah. With now mom and dad running 2 businesses, what's the morning routine like?
Oh, so I get up around like 5. I go to the gym.
Okay.
And then they're still asleep. My wife likes to sleep. She's not a morning person. She'll stay awake to do work, where I fall asleep on the couch at like 10 o'clock.
Okay.
And then when she's ready to go upstairs, she'll wake me up and we'll go upstairs to sleep.
Yeah.
But morning routine, I wake up, go work out, come back and start making her food for lunch, making her breakfast, get her up around like 7:30.
Yeah.
Give her a bath because she's only 3, so if she tried to give herself a bath, it'd be a disaster.
Water everywhere. Yeah.
Get her a bath. Obviously, I'm getting ready either before I make her food or whenever, just depending on if I've ran or something like that and I need to cool down, because sometimes when you get done working out,
for sure,
you take a quick shower, you're still going to be sweating.
Yeah.
And so my wife wakes up, and then one of us will drive her to school, and then I just go into the office, to the studio, and then there until about like 6 o'clock or so.
I find that so many couples, I very rarely find where both people are morning people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a morning guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've always been that way, but I'm a morning person, and my wife is not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know anybody, maybe I just haven't talked to enough people, but I don't know anybody that has it where, we're both morning people. Wow, really? How's that work?
I mean, like, do I love waking up early? I wouldn't say I do, but like, if I want to work out, if I'm going to take time away from somebody, I'm going to take time away from myself.
Right.
And not take it away from my daughter or my wife at night. Like, if I go work out after work, then I'm taking time away from them.
Like 100%, yeah.
And so, like, not necessarily taking time away from them when they're asleep.
No, yeah.
So, I try to get done with my workout or stuff like that, and then be back home when they wake up and still be able to help out with like getting her morning duty,
spending
or morning
that time,
ready and all that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I like to think about it. It's like, okay, if I'm going to sacrifice somebody's time, and then I'm going to sacrifice my own.
My own time, yeah. I'm the same way. Like, I don't like to give away like my weekends and stuff like that because it's family time. And as a business owner, like, you're gonna work long hours, during the week. But the weekends, or luckily we're closed. There's still work that has to be done, of course. But I hate to, I turned down golfing for this upcoming Saturday because I'm like, I don't want to give up the time, with my fam, So, all right. So you're a couple years into your business, 5 years into the family business.
Yeah.
What's the next 3 years look like?
So, when I first opened up this Clean and Dirty Face, I originally signed up for 3 locations. So, I'll be eventually looking at the second and third location. So, looking at space and building out. Just want to get this one like in the green and all that before I start putting more money into another location.
Well, you get it right, and then you can replicate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that'll be what I'm looking at. But we'd also like to expand and get another optometry practice.
Okay.
We would love to buy one. She does not want to do a cold start. She doesn't want to have to do the whole construction. She doesn't want to have to do the acquiring from 0 patient base.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have done it where you went into something existing and it worked.
Yeah, so we'd love to get a second LensCrafters location, or see what that role looks like.
Yeah, you heard it here first, LensCrafters coming for more locations.
Yeah, so would love to expand in that business as well.
Nice.
And then we're still young.
Yeah.
Would like to eventually have our fingers in a couple of different things.
Yeah.
So that you have some freedom with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, having, like you mentioned, I think a cousin or a friend that had like his hands in different industries. Like that's how I want to continue to grow. Like I love what I do, but I love the game of business.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I love the competition, and I love the strategy, and I love the executing. And at the end of the day, I'm still an operator, right? So I love getting my hands dirty and whatnot. So I want to do more industries and just have my hands in different things, or new locations. It's just exciting to do it while you can, because I feel like if I don't, I'll look back on it, when I'm 60, 70, Lord willing, and I'll be like, man, why didn't I? And I don't want to have that feeling. I want to strike while the iron's hot, you know what I mean, while I still have the faculties and the sound mind and all that stuff to play the game. I want to play the game.
And I think, like, for somebody listening who might be interested in getting into a business but think that they don't have the expertise, sometimes it's like, invest in the people, right? Like, I don't do the facials.
Right.
I mean, it's
you
different with
invest in somebody
optometry practice because my wife is the optometrist, but you can hire people for that.
100%.
And as long as like it makes sense on the balance sheet and all that, there's ways to get your foot into an industry without being the expert in that industry too.
Yeah, no, and you hire the expert too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have a partner that is the expert, or you hire people who are better at those skills or those areas than you are. Yeah. Right. Like I often see business owners that don't make it, unfortunately, who want to be the smartest person in the room. Yeah. And it just doesn't work. You need to find people who are great at this or at that. If it's an accountant or an HR, videography, social media, web dev, like whatever, like they're better at it than you are, and that's how it should be. And
it's like a saying that I've heard is like you hire your weakness.
Yeah.
So like if you're hiring somebody with the same strengths as you, well then are you putting yourself out of a job?
Right.
But if you hire somebody that does that, their strengths are your weakness, and then all right, cool, like you're kind of yin to their yang.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if I know I don't like marketing, cool, hire somebody that's good at that. Like if I don't like networking, hire somebody that's good at that. If I don't like X, Y, and Z, then you hire for those skill sets.
Yeah, 100%. I love it.
Yeah.
Man, this has been so much fun. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, bro.